It's the Two Gems Podcast.
All right, welcome to the show where I have mic problems every 5 seconds.
Yeah, why is that happening?
I don't know, but it looks like it's working. It's really annoying.
Last episode, when I was re-listening to it, like it went quiet a couple times.
Buddy, it's enough to make me want to flip this table over.
I'd like to see you try.
I could.
You think you could flip this table over?
Are you kidding? I could flip this over with one arm. Are you kidding me?
How are ya?
How
are ya?
I'm decent.
Are ya?
Just looking at the mic audio. It looks like it's working. Frig, it's so annoying. Well,
I just cleaned my glasses with that stuff that I got you for Christmas. One time, Matt gets very, very frustrated in this household when he can't find things. And you bought what, like an Apple thing to clean your
No, it came
screen?
with my monitor. It's a $50 cloth.
Yeah, I don't know where it is. I've never even seen it in my life, but he'll blame it on me. And anyway, so
100%.
I bought him some off of Amazon for Christmas as a little like LOL when he opened it under the tree. Anyway, they work really well. I just used it on my glasses.
They're incredible.
A+.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just don't have a little Apple logo in the corner. Okay, so I am opening a cream soda.
At
The world's greatest beverage.
9:30 a.m.
You have to have something I didn't want other coffee.
I feel like any cream
couldn't drink
sodas
the water.
remind me of my childhood.
Of course.
Grape, orange, pink. So exciting when you get one.
Did you just say any cream soda?
Is that-
Grape, orange, or pink?
Are there more?
Well, cream soda is a flavor.
Oh, sorry.
The brand is Crush.
Excuse me.
There you go. Get it straight. What's your favorite one, though? Pineapple?
I think, what? There's a pineapple?
Yeah.
I think orange was like your classic and almost too available. So when like the cream would come in or the grape, it was very exciting.
I don't love orange pop.
Oh.
I just don't. I think if they were all lined up, I think I'm going cream soda. I think I am.
I think you're right because I think they're all in the fridge and that's the one you picked. So the other day I called my mom on the way home. I call her every day. I drop the kids off. We have this routine, which is kind of absurd really because kids could be picked up at the bottom of our laneway to go on the bus. However, Sage's daycare is a home daycare and it's up kind of by where the kids' school is. So we just do this like big loop. I drop Sage off, I drop the kids off, come home. And I walk Lloyd on the way home. Anyway, and I usually call my mom every day. And I called her the other day.
I can't wait to hear where you're going with this.
No, I just wanted to bring this up before I forgot.
And I called my mom.
No, and the first thing I did was apologize. And I apologized because this past weekend we had a get together for Matt's birthday. I'm sure he's excited to talk about his 38th birthday and how he rang it in. But we had a whole bunch of people over and more so a whole bunch of kids. I kind of forget sometimes when we invite our friends now, they come with like a package deal of like 5 kids each.
Yeah.
So if anything, it was more like a birthday party for children versus for Matt. But it was a little bit overwhelming for Kaia. She gets pretty overstimulated and she had a lot of different friends that behave very differently and kind of had a hard time managing that, I think. So at one point she kind of locked herself in the bathroom and I put on my big grown-up girl panties and I was like, okay, we're going to go deal with this like head on while the party's like totally happening, right? And everybody's running down. Sheridan, Kaia's in the bathroom. She locked herself in there. And I'm like,
who's saying that?
I'll go deal with this.
Island stuff,
like
or?
all of her friends. Yeah, because they're like, hello. Like I want to play with my friend. Makes sense. So I go upstairs and anyway, we're sitting and chatting and she's telling me she gets overstimulated, blah, blah, blah. But like with an attitude while she's telling me this. And I've noticed Kaia, who's also the most kind-hearted, sweet person, is also starting to get a bit of an attitude. Yep. And it's especially coming out towards her mother. Not so much with her dad, with her mom. And so at the end of the conversation, I was like, can I have a hug? And she said, nope. And she's never said that to me. So I said, okay, I understand. And I just like closed the door. And I know that really bothered her because Kaia is the type that would care, right? Like she probably started crying. She was upset. I would have done the same thing as a kid. Exact same thing. I would have said no to my mom and then cried about it. Anyway, so then I called my mom, like, and we worked through this, Kaia and I, but I've been noticing lately that Kaia has an attitude and I can see it happening. So I called my mom and I said, I'm sorry. And she's like, for what? And I said, I said to Kaia this morning, I was doing her hair after like the weekend had passed and stuff. And I said, Kaia, I used to do the exact same thing. I used to have attitude and I used to take it out on my mom, and it wasn't fair because she didn't do anything. She was just the closest person to me that I felt like I could take it out on, and without, you know, because when you do that with your parents, like, you know, they're still going to love you. Right. So I called my mom and I was like, I'm sorry that I was such a bitch growing up. And she's like, thank you. And
what did she actually say?
She literally said, thank you. and then I started talking about Kaia, and she's like, And she did say for Kaia, it's happening a lot earlier than it did with me, which might be a good thing. But what the point I'm trying to make here is it made me realize how so much of life is difficult to understand what people are going through if you've never been through it in so many circumstances. And becoming a mother, you can't really relate until you have children of your own, and then you really understand, you know. And Kai is a perfect example of what just happened. Like, I didn't really know what I put my mom through, and now I'm going through it, and I'm like, oh, I get it now, right?
Yeah.
Anything, if somebody, like, you know, when I've dealt with things with my father that's had substance abuse issues, like, people that haven't had that in their life can't relate to what I went through. But once they've gone through that, then they can understand. Like walking the same path, you know? Why is that funny to you? So what I was...
No,
here's the...
I can't believe I just laughed at you saying that. No, I'm not laughing at what you're saying. I'm laughing at your face.
What's wrong with my face?
You just look really cute in your glasses. I swear to God, like, I'm not laughing at what you're saying. Here you are, like, having these hardcore emotions. No, it's your glasses.
My glasses are great. The point I wanted to make and what I've realized... Okay, you're annoying me.
No, you're so cute.
No, I came out on fire and you're annoying me. So shush.
No. Everything's good. Everything's good. I'm just laughing at your glasses because they made me think of something. Don't even worry about it.
Okay. Anyways, the point that I wanted to make was how I think one of the best qualities you can have in as a human is to be empathetic towards other people. Okay, you're actually pissing me off. Should we stop the...
No, it's all good. It's all good.
No, but I'm trying to be emotional.
No, I'm going to come in on this.
Good.
I know it's...
So let me know when you're ready.
Hey, I'm good. No, here's the thing.
What?
Here's the thing. Every time... It's like this, like, snowball effect because as soon as I crack a smile, you know I'm thinking something in my head, so then you give me a look, and then it like exponentially like grows my laughter over here, and I can't get out of it. So
are you out of it yet? What are you thinking about with my glasses? Spit it out. The whole world wants to know. All of our followers.
No, I can't look. I can't look at you right now and not think of the Jeffrey Dahmer documentary that I watched. Like they're literally his exact.
Okay, but these look great on me.
They do. They do.
So get over it.
Okay. I love you.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
I do.
And how do you think that being an empathetic person and... oh, my God. No. Stop the recording.
No.
Stop it.
No, we're not butchering an episode. Put your damn Dahmer glasses back on. Let's roll. No, I'm totally with you. Mm-hmm. Now you're just turning this into something.
Yeah, now I'm annoyed. This is annoying. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, let's keep going. Do your thing. No, you came in hot, and I'm loving it. I'm all over this. No, see, you do this to me every time. If I even remotely crack a smile.
I would never laugh when you're telling me like a serious story.
That's because you don't think about funny things.
Yes, I do have a sense of humor. Thanks.
I didn't say no.
I would just be, you know what? I would be empathetic and listening to what you have to say. I would.
All right, I'm coming in. All right. Yeah, I agree. Totes agree. Yeah. No, I totally agree. So what is the point that you're trying to make?
The point I'm making is
you have to go through it to understand it?
No. If you were listening, the point is that, yes, oftentimes it helps you understand a situation.
No, I didn't know face there. That was you prompting a face.
Okay, done now.
Yeah, I'm not even in a funny mood.
Great. Okay. Okay. Oftentimes it helps when you've gone through the situation, right? Yeah. With anything. If somebody cheats on somebody, you can relate now because you were cheated on brutally for 9 years of your relationship. You can understand how that feels because it happened to you.
Arms crossed. She has her arms crossed now.
Can you be serious now? Mm-hmm. Great. Like, it's been 10 minutes of you being a dink. Mm-mm. Okay. Mm-mm. Perfect. You can relate now when somebody's cheated on somebody.
I've done nothing. My laugh was like 7 seconds.
Okay, we're going to have to chop this
Nope, this is fantastic. You look great, hon.
Thanks. Thanks.
I always say, no, today you really look good.
Do you hear me?
Yes.
Can you relate to somebody if they've been cheated on because you've gone through that? You know the feeling.
Yeah.
So you can empathize with them.
Yes. Oh, my God.
You laughed too hard, bud.
No, I didn't.
You did.
Lloyd is here. Just kind of like pet him with your foot. We'll keep this going. Yeah. I think too is I don't, because there's much to talk about here. I think people can definitely like slightly understand, but I think that you definitely empathize with someone more when you've been through it. Like you have a more like intrinsic understanding of what's at hand. Lloyd is the podcast ruiner. You can't even focus on
Matt,
Lloyd's
he's going to fall asleep now. So that's that. And now I'm going to have a dog on me the whole episode. That's fine. All I wanted to say, and the point I was trying to make, and what it made me think of when I talked to my mom, was how it can be difficult to empathize with people when you haven't gone through what they've gone through.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to at least try to kind of pretend to be a little bit in their shoes at times and sort of be able to be empathetic. And I think that's such an important quality for humans to have. Because you're not going to be able to go through every situation that other people have been through.
Yeah.
You just can't. But I just think it's important to try your best to understand what they're going through. And you know what I mean? Anyway, That was the point I was trying to make. And I would have done a much better job had we not had the giggles. But would you like to talk about your birthday while Lloyd settles in on me?
Well, no, I mean, we can back up for a second. I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff happening the last week. I mean, like Theodore was diagnosed with ADHD.
I have all this written down. I just want to talk about your birthday.
No, but the Kaia thing for a second. I feel like when you were talking, there was something that I actually wanted to say. And, God, we got into the giggles and I forget everything I was thinking. But with Kaia, what I want to say is I think it's really, there's kind of like this interesting dynamic going in our house right now. And it's been going on since we started this little family of ours. But Theodore, and it's becoming Sage as well. But I mean, like they're like roadblocks are like very evident. Like they make it well known when they have issues. There's a lot of like screaming, there's crying, there's hitting, there's all that stuff. Where Kaia just kind of like flies under the radar with stuff, and she's like much deeper and much more emotional. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure the boys will get there one day too. But like Kaia's just like really like deep and emo about stuff. So like her locking herself in the washroom the other day and like getting herself a break was just like, man, we're gonna have our work cut out for us with Kaia. She's
yes, I totally agree with you. I think that for the boys, it's just so obvious. That's the thing. It's obvious, which in a way is kind of easier because it's right in front of you and you can deal with it face on. Whereas Kaia, like you said, a lot of her things are more quiet and more issues that are, in my opinion, much deeper than just I hit my brother and he screamed at me and said, you suck, Like there's Kaia that's sitting there saying like, I mean, I just saw her diary entry the other day and Kaia, hopefully if you're listening to this when you're like 25, you're not mad at me, but it was on the desk when I was cleaning up and it was open and, she just
it was closed. You opened it.
No.
Oh, don't go telling everyone it was open.
True.
Oh, yeah, and it was open.
I swear. I'm not lying. It was open with the pen right down the middle. And I was cleaning up her little area.
Cry for help.
Eats up there.
Subliminal.
And she has a lot of little thoughts for a 7-year-old that I don't necessarily remember having when I was 7. So, I think that we need to pay close attention to that.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know, be as helpful as we possibly can for her because I think that there's going to be a lot of situations that she's going to, need us, whether she vocalizes it or not, because she's very good at keeping things to herself. Yeah. Yeah, which is not good.
Is that interesting how two people, me and you, anyone on earth, couples, can create humans and they can just be so different? Like here Kaia is with like, generalizing here.
Yep.
Kaia has a friggin' good life.
Sure.
Like her life is, she does not go without. She's parented very well, very understanding parents, empathetic, understanding, all those things. But here Kaia is in her own head with things, and she's like,
Well, that's what I
she
think.
has like child depression a little bit sometimes.
Well, her teacher had mentioned that maybe she was going through something, and I agree, but I think that's why it's so important to talk about mental health and whatnot, because it's true. I mean, just because she came out of the same vagina as the other two doesn't mean that she's going to be the same, and I agree completely. And the expression, like you said, Kaia, quote unquote, has all, like she doesn't go without. She has, a great childhood with what we can see. That doesn't mean anything. It really doesn't. And again, my dad is a perfect example of that because, he, and I feel like I talk about my dad a lot on here. And by the way, he listens to every episode and we love Petey. And
love us some Petey.
Yeah, and my dad's in a really, really great spot now. I would say he's probably the best I've seen him in a really long time. But, we went through some hardships for quite a while, actually, when Matt first came into the relationship in 2014. And that's kind of when shit hit the fan. And he doesn't mind me talking about him at all. Like I asked him and I said, I want to tread lightly on what I can talk about in this podcast and stuff. And he's like, you say whatever you need to say. I'm an open book. And he is, like he really, it really doesn't bother him at all. So when I say stuff like, my dad in the end also had the same sort of situation where he didn't go without. We were financially stable. Like he had the quote unquote perfect family, blah, blah, blah. But like he still struggled extremely hard with his mental health. So I don't think that means anything. If you have all these things and all the things that you need, like your brain is your brain, and it's going to do whatever it's going to do.
I
regardless.
fully agree. That's what I'm saying. It is so interesting. And like, we talk about, oh my God, we talk about Theodore constantly on this show and everywhere we go. But like, I noticed something was different about Theodore at like, I swear, like, I think it was like 1 or like 1.5, like really, really, really early. I noticed there was something off about him, and that he was struggling with something, the transitions, and it was almost like with everything in life, you almost had to distract him into the next thing because he gets so caught up in the moment on stuff, and then here Kaia is. I mean, Kaia's, and I don't want anyone listening to like get the wrong impression of Kaia. Like Kaia is, a bubble of energy. She's so fun to be around. She has really great friendships. I mean, oh my God, you go into the school and like Kaia's like holding hands with a bunch of people and walking along. Like she's awesome, super sociable, but like super deep thinker and like has, I would almost say like sad thoughts about the world.
Absolutely.
Like she's funny because I think a lot of the same stuff that she does, but I don't really think I vocalized much of it in front of her. You say, oh, frig off. You seem to think I like plant these seeds about the universe.
You do.
No, I don't.
You absolutely do. You don't need to be defensive.
No, I'm honest with our whole family about stuff, but I never like go around like.
Sure, but I do think that you can be honest, but also keep a little bit of that away from children. Like
what?
Well, just in general, like Kaia will
give
say
me one example.
Sure. Kaia will say stuff like how you listen to, your murder shows with her there and it scares her and she doesn't like them. Or you'll be talking, like you'll just talk without recognizing that Kaia's sitting there on her iPad doing whatever, listening to everything you're saying. And you're
take out
extremely what's the word I'm looking for? Like, here's a perfect example. The other day,
you get all these right in the chamber,
well,
ready
this
to
one
go.
just happened
Holy
when
shit,
we had the party, and the rock fell onto the driveway.
Oh, yeah.
No, but this is actually a good example because Kaia is an extremist, and I think it comes from you. And so she'll say, like, Matt, the rock fell on the driveway, and Matt comes over, and he's like telling every child that had that fallen on somebody's foot, it would have been amputated, life would have been over. And all like the adults are looking around. And I'm
good for them. Okay.
No, but Matt, let me keep talking.
Well, let me jump in to defend myself one sec. This boulder was like this sign that's on our back wall. It was like probably almost as big as that.
Okay.
Like if it would have fallen on a child's foot.
Sure.
Their bones would turn to cookie crumbs. So all the kids are laughing. Like you can see Maya and Theodore like, I'm going to push it as soon as he turns around again. And I said, if this falls on one of your feet, you're going to have to get your foot cut off. So stop. And I said it half jokingly, but I was like, you're going to literally get your foot cut off. So stop pushing the boulders over this cliff onto people.
Okay, so could you agree that perhaps your delivery is a little bit intense?
Kitties.
Yes,
don't
Matt.
do it.
Yes, that's how
Oh
you
my
talk to
God.
kids. So all I'm saying is like when I was talking to Kaia's teacher, I think I told you this, and she was like telling me about Kaia and how she thinks like she has like kind of anxiety about things, and she's like, yeah, Kaia will come up to me and say something like, well, my dad said da da da, you're gonna die. And,
Oh my
and then
God.
she goes, and I kind of say to Kaia like, your dad probably didn't say it quite like that, and I'm thinking in my head, I bet he did.
Oh my God. Come on.
I think this podcast is great for you to reflect. You talk to me all the time about my shittiness and how I'm not loving and affectionate enough, and I take that. I take it and I'm like,
Take
you're
and
right.
do what? Absolutely nothing.
No, but
with
I'm
it?
saying nice.
No, but I mean,
No, but like I listen.
no, you're right. Absolutely.
So just take it and be like, yeah, you're right. Maybe I should just have a different delivery. And
I think some of my deliveries could probably be modified a little bit.
okay,
For sure.
That's it.
Okay, I watch this show and reflect all the time. So, like, that's why every second episode I'm on here saying sorry about something but the murder thing, you're probably right. I think sometimes I guess I don't really like Kaia's listening to everything. Like, even if it's on the other side of the house, like I could be like in a different room and Kaia's listening like to everything. You can't get away with anything with her. But, so yeah, I mean, I should probably be more mindful of that. She doesn't need to know about Brian Koberger and like the murders in Idaho, like for sure. But like at the same time, like the rock falling on their feet thing, I don't think there's many ways that you could really sugarcoat that. Like someone could die out there. That rock was as big as my torso. And the kids are pushing it off a cliff and acting like it's funny. Meanwhile, Sage is going by on his big wheel and everything. It's like, man, if that falls on his legs, like Sage will be in a wheelchair. Like, So what do you want me to say? Like, it's probably going to hurt a little bit, guys.
doesn't matter.
Anyway.
Okay, let's move along.
Keep rolling.
You're
It's my
starting to
birthday. It was my
realize
birthday.
here that Matt and I, sometimes we don't talk for a week and then we come on here and we're having very serious conversations. How was your birthday?
Oh, my goodness.
What?
How was my birthday? My birthday was great, babe.
What'd you do? Tell everyone.
It was really great. I can't believe that when we started the show, I was also talking about my birthday. It's been a year-ish.
Wow.
It has.
That's
It's
awesome.
episode 32. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, I'm fine.
What's going on with you?
Absolutely
No,
nothing.
you're all off now. I could tell.
I'm not off at all.
Am I off?
I just think that like communication is so important in a relationship. And although we don't pillow talk very much at night, I think when we come on here, it's important to be able to do that and to have conversations.
What Reddit page is that there? What was that?
I don't know.
Popped up?
And I don't know. I guess I just feel like sometimes the conversation doesn't go the way
Oh
I
my God.
hoped.
You got to be kidding me. You won't find two people that can converse better than you and I. Literally. That's why everywhere we go, people are like stopping me in the mall and everything. They're like, oh my God, the way you guys communicate. Like it literally happens all the time. I'm not even just saying that happens all the time. Oh my
Right.
God, goals. Like this happens all the time. Sharon, you and I are very good at talking to each other.
Tell me about your birthday.
The Kaia thing obviously bothers me a lot. Like it's a real, it's a spot that really bugs me a lot.
So
I could cry right now about it. I love Kaia so much, and I'll do anything to protect her. And I don't want you to think too much into the fact that like I wouldn't really say that the way that I parent, which is in the essence of what I'm trying to get across right now, the way that I parent isn't making Kaia the way she is. I parent all three the same, and Kaia is the way she is because of who Kaia is, which is the exact point I'm trying to make. So don't sit here and say that because I said the rock could crush someone's foot out there, that Kaia's turtling up and becoming someone different. I'm saying that in front of Sage, and he's laughing with his mullet blowing in the wind, and Theodore doesn't give a shit. Kaia is Kaia. She's a deep thinker, and she always will be. But at the same time, if she harnesses that deep thinking ability, she's going to go on to be like a humanitarian, save people, awesome person, think so much of. Who knows? Maybe, man, Kaia, with Kaia, the sky's the limit, and her big ass empathetic heart is her weakness, but her best asset that she has. Like when I talk about Kaia to strangers, not that many people don't really know much about her, but like if I was giving someone an elevator pitch about Kaia, I'd say biggest heart in the world, deep thinker, can chat with you about life. Like when Dad was taking Kaia to a Mooseheads game a couple months ago, and and it was my dad's like first date with Kaia, and I was kind of like priming him up for it. I was like giving him like a bit of an outline as to like how to behave with Kaia and everything. I was like, you can talk to Kaia about politics, Russia, whatever. She will literally talk to you about anything and like get into it with you. She literally will. Anyway, I just don't want you to make it look like I'm the reason that Kaia is suffering anything.
I'm not.
Like, I love my little girl so much.
I think the most important part about being a parent is learning that you're not perfect and that there's room to grow.
For sure.
I know. I'm not attacking you personally. I have these all the time too, these thoughts where I'm like, man, I could work on this, and this. And that's okay. Like, that's normal. What's not normal is thinking that you're the perfect parent. Like, I'm doing everything right. That's not it. We're always striving to be better.
Why are you saying this right now?
No, so I'm just saying. So I think that like...
No, but like to follow that up with that bullet point, it's like, sure, and I don't think I'm making too many mistakes with Kaia. I wouldn't...
I'm not saying that you are. I'm just saying that I think with parenting, like conversation becomes growth and becomes being better at it. So I think instead of like the automatic feeling maybe a bit defensive about something is to just like listen and then spit it out back. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I'm not making sense, but anyway.
Yeah. No, you know what?
Like the
No,
first...
you know what? You're right. You are right. You're right. I think with any child, absolutely, you're 100% right. With any child, you can't just treat every kid the same. So me sitting here and saying I can say it to Sage and his mullet's blowing, and then I can say the same thing. No, it's not right. I'm wrong. I'm definitely wrong. You need to modify your delivery of certain things to certain people based on who they are. You're right.
Last episode, I sat here and I talked about how good of a dad you were for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And I meant that. So I think when you talk about things like this, it doesn't necessarily like automatically mean like, oh, I think you're a shitty dad and da-da-da-da. It's just conversation. You're right? Man. And I do the same thing with the kids too. Like I treat Kaia so differently than how I treat the other kids.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And like, you don't always see it because I'm kind of like up in her room and chatting with her, but like we just communicate and do things differently because she's different, right? They're all different. You can't treat all your kids the same.
Yeah.
Every single one of them's different. Anyway,
it's very valid point.
Tell me about your birthday.
Why do you want to talk about my birthday?
You really wanted to talk. You really want to talk about it.
No, you know what? No, I'm 38 now. It's crazy. Like, I don't really need to talk about the party much. I mean, I drank a bunch of beer, ate a bunch of meat, put a bunch of kilometers in my side by side with my friends. It was freaking awesome. I had a night to myself up at the college with my dad, and we had like some like good life chats together and stuff, and got to hang out with my uncle and my brother. And
when I met you, you were 28, right?
Crazy.
And I was 24. And I thought you were really old. Like, I remember being like, wow, what an old guy I'm dating. And I'm like, 28? Little babies.
Man,
like 10 years later. And when I was a kid, like 40 was like you are a dinosaur at this point.
It's crazy that when I got with you, you were basically a kid. 24? 24?
It's so young.
24.
I know.
Like, that's younger than Mike and Kate are.
I know.
Like, a year or two younger. Like,
I know.
Crazy. And like at that point you were like buying a house and like getting married and like
Didn't you
kids
feel though like when your parents were 40, like because you're almost pushing 40 now, like they were old and now you're like, I'm not old.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, are we living in a simulation or something? Like, why do we seem younger than our parents? Like, when my parents were 40,
yeah.
I remember being like, oh my God, you're the most uncool, old, dusty, old. And now I'm like, I feel like I'm pretty fly still. I don't know.
You think you got it?
I don't know. I think, you know what? And this is what old people have to start telling themselves as they're getting older. Age is just a number.
It's true.
It is. It is. It's just a number. I feel incredible. I feel like, I feel like at this stage of my life, I'm still reaching for the stars. I have new ideas all the time.
Yeah.
And that's what really excites me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not packing it in. I'm not packing it in and acting like I'm on one straight line the rest of my life. Like,
but I don't think a lot of people our age now are doing that. I really don't. So I don't know if there's like a change in something or like a shift in society or what, but I don't feel like people at 40 are like, getting up there. They're like, yeah, I'm 40. This is great. This is fun.
Yeah.
You know, and not to say they did that back when our parents turned 40, but as a child, it sure felt that way. I was like, oh my God, my parents are going to die soon? Like, I remember thinking that they were getting old. I'm serious.
Sounds a little like Kaia over there, but anyway.
No, but, well, I've always had quite intrusive thoughts. I have. I remember.
Quite what?
Intrusive thoughts.
Intrusive thoughts.
I remember being 10 years old and going to my mom and saying, I'm not a happy person. I'll never forget. I went into her bed and I lied down and I said, is that normal? Like, I'm sad.
Huh.
And she said, well, we're going to keep an eye on that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I remember being like, every other kid looks so happy and sometimes I'm not. Like, is that okay?
Oh, everyone's sad. Everyone's sad sometimes.
Sometimes.
But yeah, no, I feel freaking good. I'm 38 now. I don't know if I've ever had more on the go. I really don't. I feel like I'm kind of like coming into my prime right now. Like I feel pretty good. You know, I have sore ankles now. That's a little weird. It's a little weird. Like my ankles are sore. Like I think I have like Achilles tendonitis or like a plantar's fasciitis or some shit. Anyway, my feet hurt sometimes.
But you don't do anything to help yourself. You don't have orthotics. You don't have nice comfy shoes.
Yeah, I don't have the Dr. Scholl's up in the
it's your only
box.
You're walking around with like your flip-flops out in the yard. Like it's your own. You're
right.
worst enemy.
But what I want to say though is that I'm feeling freaking good, you know, and I'm just really enjoying my life right now. I'm just like super happy. I'm really happy, you know. I for the most part. I mean, I still look around and, you know, feel sad about certain things in the world and stuff, but like my life is so good right now, and you know, I think it's really important to count your blessings in this world, you know, because like just tomorrow's not promised, and now
that
you know,
go ahead.
I think like being 38 years old now, I think like if I was to like pass on advice to anybody is just to like really just like just to count your blessings and your wins, no matter how big or how small. Like just like, you know, even something as simple as getting up in the morning, rolling out of bed and having a breath of fresh air, like be thankful for that and like know that like, you know, everyone doesn't get that. So like, yeah, I don't know. I feel good, and I'm really like, I have a lot of like business ideas that Tim and I are working on with some friends right now and stuff, and you and I have been doing really well lately, and the kids are doing well, and we have everything going on with Theo right now, which is really good, and the backyard's almost done, and summer's here, and leaves are popping, and I don't know, I feel good. I'm enjoying my life right now.
So touching on the count your blessings, because not every day is promised, I thought you might want to tell the story about what happened with your mom on the way home a couple weeks ago.
Oh, shit.
Because I know you had mentioned it in your stories, but I'm like, that's a very, very cool story. And I think that we should just say it again in case
I forgot about it.
In case people missed your stories and didn't get
See,
it.
See, this is why you and I need to like, I wish there was less friction between us recording and getting stuff up. Like the idea of editing all this right now, I'm like, oh my God. Like, I just wish that we could just talk and go. Like, there's so many things that happen every day that just like come and go. Before this episode's up, don't let me not talk about Conor McGregor. I watched the 4-part miniseries and it was so good. Okay. It was so freaking good. Okay. But yeah, no, this thing happened with my mom. So crazy story. And like some people that are listening right now have probably heard it, but like I really want to like try to unveil this like it's completely new. So where do you even begin? It gives me goosebumps. So mom comes up here and stays the night a fair bit, my mother. She helps out with the kids and like she helps out kind of cleaning the house and helping with the gardening and stuff like that. So mom will come up and spend like like a night a week maybe. Some like probably on average, it usually ends up being like 1 week she won't come, then the next she'll be here for like 2 or 3 nights or whatever kind of thing. So anyway, mom was here and she was here for like couple nights or whatever, and she was leaving. Let's just say it was like a Wednesday morning, let's say. And on this particular Wednesday, we were obviously getting the kids ready, and you had a photo shoot thing I had to help you with, like first thing in the morning. Yeah. First thing in the morning, like really early. We had to like make some edits to a commercial we were shooting and stuff. And anyway, so my mom couldn't leave the house. This is important to note. My mom couldn't leave the house until her until her summer tires were in the back of her car. So she was going to go to Mr. Lube or something and get her tires swapped. And the tires were up on the tire rack thing in the garage, and they were like way up in the air, so she couldn't reach them. She needed me. So I'm just going to keep time stamping stuff. Mom wanted to leave at like 8-ish in the morning, but I was tied up for about an extra hour with Sheridan finishing up edits on a commercial, and then there was something else. There was one other thing. You and I were like busy for a minute. So mom couldn't leave at the time she wanted to leave. She was supposed to be going at 8 and didn't leave till like 9, let's say. And so anyway, Sharon and I wrap up whatever the hell we were doing, and I go over, help mom get the tires down in the garage, load them up in her car, all the hugs and kisses and love you, and I always say drive safe and all that shit. And so anyway, mom was all this to say, mom was held up like an extra hour from when she'd planned on leaving. So then mom leaves, and I'm outside working. I've got my laptop up in the little bar thing there, and just working away. And then my mom starts calling me, and I want to say that maybe I missed the first call, maybe.
You told me that you're like, what's she calling about now? Like, you thought it was...
No, it was just like unbelievable. Like, why? Like,
Yeah,
what? Like, mom,
right.
there's nothing left to talk about.
Right.
You've been here for a few days. Like, what are you calling me for? Like, 30 minutes
Right.
after leaving the house.
Yeah.
So anyway, I picked the phone up, and mom's like, "You'll never guess what just happened to me." And like, nothing ever happens to my mom. Like, my mom's life is very like, it's pretty even keel life. Like,
Yeah.
there's not too much excitement going on. Mom's retired now, and like the most exciting thing in her life is like the daisies popped on the front yard or something like. And that's not a diss. It's just her life's just chill.
Yeah.
So mom's like, "You'll never guess what," and I'm just like, "Whoa, what happened to mom?" Like, what? She's like, "I just saved somebody's life," and I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And she's like cutting in and out on the phone. She's like freaking out and everything. And then she's crying and like, anyway, so basically what happened is mom was stuck in traffic for a minute on the highway by one of the like construction zones out on the 103. And, she was caught up in traffic, just kind of crawling along for a little bit, and then she looked over and saw a woman's legs coming out from behind a van or an SUV or something like that, and then saw like a bunch of bodies around this woman. And my mom thought it was weird, but I mean, all she could see were the legs. And then she started recognizing that like someone over there, like one of the construction guys, was making the motion of CPR, like he was down on the ground, like pushing her stomach. So mom stops her car, jumps out, runs over to see if they need help. And sure enough, yeah, there's a woman there laying on the ground and a bunch of like construction guys on the highway that have no clue what they're doing or standing around her. And mom's kind of like, "Do you guys need help here?" And they're all like, yes. Mm-hmm. And mom's a retired nurse, so like, she's an OG. She knows what she's doing. And mom got on the ground, checked for a pulse, and couldn't find a pulse on the woman at all. Mom said the woman looked like she was our age, so like 35-ish, had a kid in the back seat of her car and everything, like that was Sage's age. And mom couldn't find a pulse on her, so like, at this point, like she's on like her last few seconds, minutes of life. Mm-hmm. And mom got down and started pounding away on her chest. And I think she said she did 4 rounds of 10 compressions and actually brought this woman back to life. Mm-hmm. She started like gagging and coughing and everything, kind of like coming to it and everything. And then mom started like rocking her body back and forth, almost kind of like the way mom was explaining it, I think is like kind of trying to get the rib cage to like slam the heart a little bit, like just kind of like basically just trying to shock your body into like kind of coming back to it. Mm-hmm. I think that's what you do. Like once the person starts kind of like coming around, you kind of start like caressing them and getting some movement happening. And the woman came back to it, and obviously
she said the first thing she had said was like, "My son."
Yeah.
They didn't know that there was a child in the back seat. And she woke up and she's like, my son. And your mom's like, "What?" And then she said something about my son, and she's like, in the back, and there was a 3-year-old boy. I think he was asleep.
Kid in the back of
I
the
believe
car.
he was asleep, thank goodness. So like it wasn't so scary for him. But yeah, there's a 3-year-old boy in the back of the car.
So like this was one of these things. Like I like definitely cried with my mom and just like couldn't even believe it. It's just like such an emotional thing when you really think about it. Mm-hmm. That like it just makes you just realize man, how fragile life is. And just thinking that like if my mom didn't get held up because of the winter tires and the commercial we were shooting and everything, like mom would have scooted right along that highway and never that would have happened behind mom. And who knows if there would have been another nurse ready to freaking jump in then. Yeah. And it was almost just like the perfect scenario to save this person's life.
Absolutely.
And and I've always kind of thought this way anyway, but you think like I was gonna run into the mall this morning and sit down in the food court there and work. And it's 10:05 now. I was gonna leave here at probably like 8-ish and go into the mall and like get some A&W breakfast and sit there and work for a little bit and stuff. And now we recorded first, and then I'm gonna go to the mall. Like, how much of a ripple effect will that have on my entire life? Like what will change about my life now? Who fucking knows, man?
I know there's an expression for this, but like,
who knows?
Yeah.
Like, if I would have left at 8 o'clock this morning, like, would I have gotten a car accident?
Yeah.
Like, is all this for a reason? I don't know. Like, would I have got slammed and sideswiped in the roundabout? Or like, I don't know, would like, even, like, would I be like driving along and someone would see me and take an extra second and be like, oh, that's Matt, Sheridan's husband or something. And then like now that person's 10 seconds behind where they would be and it saves their life or something. It's just crazy to think that all this shit, this giant web of things, when you think you're just like some insignificant little turd in life that's not doing anything, like your life can play such a big role on everything around you. It's crazy.
There used to be this TV show. I don't remember what it's called, but there was a guy and he woke up and got the paper every day. And the paper would say what had happened, like there was an accident or whatever. And somehow he was able to go back. I'm not crazy. I'm going to have to look this up. But I remember watching it as a kid and being like, what a cool concept. He was able to go back and change the day, like how everything would go. Like that was kind of his rule.
Sheridan, I love you so much. Are you thinking of the movie that we just watched like 2 weeks ago?
What movie?
Well, friggin' big dick guy there. What's his name?
Big Dick. Why do I not know who this is?
What's his name?
Who's the big dick
Pete
guy?
Davidson and the girl there, and like changing time over and over and over.
And there was a cat in it. Like it was a whole show. I'm gonna find this. No.
Oh, you're not gonna find that right now.
I bet you I will.
Anyway, and then it's just so it just gives me goosebumps just to think like how things that you think are so insignificant are actually playing a bigger role in the world. Like just when you really, like when you start getting into like string theory and vibrations and everything and like energy and I don't know. It's crazy.
It was in 1996 called Early Edition.
What?
And
Sounds incredible.
Gary Hobson is startled to open his door one day to find a cat sitting on a newspaper that has been published date of the next day. With the future's headlines running through his head, he tried to save the lives of as many people as he can, and this happens every day. I knew I wasn't crazy.
It sounds incredible.
But that's exactly what you're saying.
Is it good? Is it a good show?
I remember liking it.
Or is it a movie? Is it a movie or a show?
It's a show. And I remember enjoying it, but like that's exactly what you're talking about. Like just a trajectory of your day and how it could change just one little thing.
Oh yeah.
Like you said, if your mom, didn't leave later, what would have happened? You'll never know because she made it and she was there. But like the trajectory of this person's life could have been vastly different.
Well, it changes everything.
Yeah.
Because now mom will behave differently.
Right.
And this might inspire her to change something about her life, or like, and then that woman goes home and like probably saw a doctor, and then maybe what happened is like it saved her from what would have happened had she not seen a doctor. Like it's just crazy. There's like a gazillion different variables, and they all come together to create this life.
Yep.
Which is why I'm 38 now and my life's dope, because I think it's so important. I'm tinfoil hat shit. I think it's so important to put good energy into the universe.
Why is it a tinfoil hat?
Because I don't know. Some people might be like, there's no such thing as magic. But like, I really feel like everything's important. I think every little thing that you do is so important in life. Always try and stay positive. And I know that you can't always. Like, of course not. Like, I put a hole in the wall over there a few months ago because I was so angry I slammed the door and put a hole in the wall. Like, you're not always happy. But just try to be happy and put good energy into the universe, and the universe brings it back to you in mysterious ways. It works, I swear. Which could be a perfect segue to the Conor McGregor documentary, because that's what he believes. And like, okay, so if you haven't seen it yet, it's called McGregor Forever. Totally fire. 4 episodes on Netflix. Yes, he's a giant twat waffle sometimes, and like a lot of people absolutely despise Conor McGregor, and in some aspects I do as well. But watching this guy's life story in a documentary is friggin' incredible. He was on welfare in Crumlin, Ireland. Literally on welfare. Like he'd get a check in the mail every month just to survive. 1,200 days later, he was worth over $100 million. Like, that's how quickly his rise to fame happened.
Did you say 12 days?
1,200.
Oh, I'm like, what?
No. So he went from being on welfare in Crumlin, Ireland, a kid with a dream. And it's really crazy because when they put the cameras in front of his face, okay, he's an absolute nobody. He was playing his role. And like, He's sitting there and he's like, I don't know how old he was, but he looks like he's probably like 24 or something like that. Face covered in acne, shaved head, like, just a kid with a dream. Just a kid with a dream. He's like, one day I'll be the champion of the UFC, and like I'm meant for more than this. I'm a plumber right now, but I will be there. And he's like, I will buy my mom a house, and I will raise my children. Like, he had like this whole dream, and he said it all. That's why they call him Mystic Mac, because he literally said it and then made it happen. And so like. It's funny too because he gets into the UFC, and it might not have been his first fight, but he gets into the UFC and starts just knocking guys out. Like because he was putting the time into his skill set and like really like dedicated his life to his craft. And it could be any craft. Like I think that anyone can pull a lot of inspiration from Conor McGregor. Take all the shit out of it that he's done in the last couple of years since he's gone a little crazy. But like you look at him and like he had nothing but believed in himself. And I think that's so important. And like, anyway, so like then he gets another knockout in the UFC. He's like, Dana, 60 G's, baby, and like, and everyone's laughing and losing their minds. And like he said it, he's like, so he's basically doing the impossible because his first title fight was against a guy named Jose Aldo, and Jose Aldo hadn't been defeated in something like I want to say like 11 years. Like there's no way Conor's gonna beat this guy. He's invincible. Like, he's got this scar across his face and everything. Like, the guy's an absolute animal and, like, just, like, hardest kicks and everything. And, like, Conor goes, I'm going to knock him out in the first round. And, like, everyone's laughing. It's like, okay, Conor, but they call him Mystic Mac. Everything he said. 13 seconds. 13 seconds. Here's this guy, like, Terminator. Like, no way you're beating this guy. 13 seconds, and Conor flatlined him and destroyed him. Won the belt. And then went on to become the 2-division champion, 2 belts in his hand, fight Floyd Mayweather for $100 and some million plus sponsorship deals and everything. 4 years before he was on welfare in Ireland, he was a kid with a dream. And like, I just think in life, if you're listening to this, it's so important to put good energy out there and just like believe in your dreams and chase them. And like, man, I feel like I'm like really preaching right now, but like
that motivated you.
Oh, it always has. I mean, I've watched Conor's story since you and I got together. He started becoming popular probably like 9 years ago, something like that. And he's always been a huge inspiration for me, just in the sense that like, if you really believe in your vision, anything's possible. Anything in the world is possible.
I don't know much about like him as a person, like where you mentioned that he's gone a little bit off his rocker lately, but I think everybody loves a good underdog story, and that sounds like one, and that's cool.
The thing is if you stay focused on your dream, and it doesn't matter what it is. It can be something completely silly. Like if you have a dream and you believe in it. And here's the key word is believing it. Because if it's something that's unbelievable, if it's just absolutely ridiculous. Unattainable, you know you don't believe in it because it's not real. But if it's something that you know you can do, you can do it. And if you stay focused, you will do it.
You know what? I think that's a great example of when people make New Year's resolutions and they make the most absurd ones that they know they're not going to attain. Like it's like, oh, I'm going to lose 50 pounds. I'm automatically assuming weight loss because I feel like a lot of people say that. Or I'm going to start exercising 6 times a week. Or I'm going to da-da-da. And it's like, it's not realistic. You have to make goals that are realistic to you. I'm going to drink more water. I'm going to go out a couple times. We can go for a walk, like things like that are attainable. And then you kind of go from there, but like setting unrealistic goals is one of the worst things you could do to yourself.
Well, because you're setting yourself up for failure.
Yeah.
And failure is not good for anybody. That's why you need to set milestones that are like pushing your boundaries, but they're achievable so that like, you can, there's that video of the military guy. He's talking there on YouTube and he's talking about the importance of making your bed in the morning when you get up. Do you know what I'm about to say?
No, but sounds great.
In the military, you know how the whole bed regiment is like really important, but it's so stupid. It's like, who cares about?
Is it?
Just hear me out though. So like, before you hear him say it, it's like so stupid. It's just like, why in the military, these guys that are going out there and doing all this shit, do they need to make a bed? Like, who cares? But what he says is that the reason they make those soldiers make a bed in the morning is because it's their first victory of the day. So they wake up in the morning, they roll out of bed, they make the bed perfectly. Like I'm talking like laser precision. And what it is they've achieved a goal immediately in the day, and it sets you up for success. If the first thing you do in the morning is knock a goal off, knock a task off, and achieve something, you're setting yourself the precedent for your whole day that you're on a roll now and you're on a mission. And so this, it kind of ties into the goal thing. It's like setting yourself up for guaranteed failure, saying like, oh, I'm going to lose 400 pounds this year. Blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, okay, maybe it's doable, but why not set yourself at like a 60-pound goal or something like that? And
Do you know how much weight? You mean like a 6-pound goal? I see what you're saying. Yeah, 400.
Really like passion.
Yeah. Do you see how intense Matt is? It's not 6 pounds. He says 400 to 60. Yeah, and there's Matt summed up.
I'm trying to take extreme.
I see.
But here's the thing: you also don't want to make your goals easy, or you'll never push yourself. Like it has to be straddling the line of impossible and doable. Yeah. Like somewhere in the middle there, so that you can achieve it. And then you know what's going to happen. As soon as you start unlocking that feeling of like I can do this, you're going to keep pushing yourself further and further and further until you're Conor McGregor.
And you know what? And you know what else is really important is you have to it's like I see all these things and I'm like corny, but it's not corny. You have to surround yourself with people that also have the same mindset as you, because if you don't and they don't want to strive for those things like you do, then it's not helpful at all. And I'm actually thinking of when we were getting married in 2019, I had set a goal out that I wanted to lose a little bit of weight. And it wasn't necessarily to like fit in a dress or anything. I just wasn't feeling good. And usually when it comes to weight loss, for me, that's exactly what it is. I just feel yucky. I feel bloated. I feel unhealthy. I feel like I can't run with my kids as much as I'd like to, or, do activities like that. And I don't like it. So I set a goal, and it was a small goal, and we started weighing ourselves. I forget when, but we did it once, like we did it every month. And I didn't have it in mind, like I need to lose 40 pounds. I was just like, I'd like to lose like 10 pounds before the wedding, just so I feel better. And I did. And I had you like with me at that point being helpful and like cheering me on, and we were doing better at eating properly and stuff like that. And like, it was so important to have you on my side to do that. And now if I were to say it now, like, I don't know, I would feel like I would need a supportive partner to be like, we got this, let's do it together. Let's eat a salad for dinner. Let's drink more water, not get vanilla lattes every morning. Like, you need somebody there kind of being helpful for you, I think, and being a good partner to motivate you to also do that, right? Because if you're drinking a vanilla latte and having a donut and I'm beside you like sipping on my water, like, you know what I mean? It can be a lot more difficult, I think. So
it's doable, but
it's just, yeah. So I think surrounding yourself with people that, have the same ideas that you do are so important too.
Well, there's an old saying, you are the company you keep. And it is important. Like, man, that's a whole. We could literally call our next episode "The Company You Keep." Like, cutting toxic people out of your life and trying to surround yourself with love and positivity is like so important. Mm-hmm. Like-minded, unless you don't care. But I mean, if you're on a mission like to increase your business acumen and get out there and do that kind of stuff, you need to surround yourself with other hustlers and people that are in that world. Mm-hmm. If you want to lose weight and get into like that gym mindset, hang out with people that do that shit, and you'll just absorb their energy and get in.
For sure. Yeah. I agree with that completely, actually. Do you want to talk about Theodore's assessment? My only concern here is that I really have to go to the bathroom. Lloyd is sleeping on me, and I'm not sure we'll get the same position, but I really got to go.
We could do that next episode.
How long have we been talking for?
It says 50, 52, 53 minutes.
Okay, so, well, I'll talk about one last thing that I would just want to quickly touch on. I woke up in the middle of the night the other night, and for some reason I thought about this, and it's really nothing too serious. It sounds serious when I say I woke up in the middle of the night. But I wrote down Kim K reading mean tweets about her. Do you remember when she did this thing where she like popped on to something and just started reading tweets that people had written about her?
Yeah.
And then I wrote, was she actually not fazed? And then I wrote, I spent my whole life wanting everyone to like me. Social media has made me realize it's just not realistic, and that's okay. And I think I I kind of thought to myself, maybe she really actually isn't fazed by those things anymore. Because one thing that social media has really taught me, and I really mean this, from a young age, I wanted everybody to like me. I did. Like my mom would say it. She'd say, Sheridan, not everybody's going to like you. Or I'd get in an argument with my friends and I immediately wanted to resolve it. Like I just needed everything to be okay and for everybody to like me. And if there was an instance where I didn't feel that way about somebody, I'd be like, well, what am I doing wrong? What can I change? How will you like me more? And social media and me having my Instagram has brought many people my direction that perhaps don't even have the same sort of mentality that I do or the same vibes that I do and are completely different because we're all so different, which is what Instagram and social media has taught me, and that it's really okay if not everybody likes you. And that was kind of a hard lesson for me to learn, but I'm so glad I did because now I feel like, you know, I'm more comfortable with myself and not trying to people please and just thinking like it's all right if you don't like me, that's okay. It's not the end of the world. Not everybody's gonna love you. So it just made me think about, I don't know why I woke up and thought about this, but I'm like, I bet you she actually didn't give a shit reading those tweets.
No, for sure she doesn't.
She doesn't, because
she goes out and gets in her hot pink G-Wagon and rolls out and doesn't care at all. Like,
yeah, and it's not even the materialistic thing, I don't think. I'm just assuming, like, you kind of have no choice when you become somebody that's in the public eye that you're going to get criticized. And even myself, like, I don't think that I'm so, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, polarizing that people have all these swaying opinions of me. Like, I don't think that's the way my Instagram works, but I still have people that don't necessarily agree with everything that I do or the way that I speak or the way that I do certain things.
Oh, I bet you have people out there that literally despise you.
Nice.
No, I'm completely serious. There's this really weird thing, and I don't know where in the evolution of humanity this became a thing, but as soon as people start doing well, the haters come out of the woodwork. Like what's that girl in Cape Breton? What's her name?
I have no idea.
Is that where Alicia McCarver?
No,
Is
she
that her
lives
name?
here.
Is she not from Cape Breton?
She lives in Halifax.
I thought she was from Cape Breton. Where was she born?
I have no idea, but I think.
Anyway, Alicia McCarver, it's just like, it boggles my mind that this woman went from like the story of the underdog kind of thing and like everyone kind of like, you know, corralling behind her and rooting for her and everything to now she garners all this hate because she's doing something with her life and has done well. I will never understand it.
Well,
like, hold on.
Okay.
Like, look at a guy like 50 Cent, okay? When he was like on his come up and like before Get Rich or Die Trying happened, and like I know there was people out there that wanted to strip him of everything, hence why he got shot. But everyone loved him. Everybody like in the music scene loved this guy. And then 50 blew up, and yeah, like he went on like a bit of a sellout mission. But then it just turned into like everybody hates him now all of a sudden just because he blew up. It's really weird to me. Why can people not watch someone come up and applaud them, and when they make it, continue applauding them? I do not understand.
Well,
it.
I think there's a few reasons. One, misery loves company.
Yes.
Right? Number two.
You always remember that saying. You've said that before, and I
but
always
it's
forget
true.
it. No, I know.
And
it is.
hurt people hurt people.
Yeah.
And like I've said to Kaia, because we've talked about how I've had people that like write things. Oftentimes, like Facebook is a very crazy place.
Most toxic.
And when a lot of times with an ad, they might take my post and post it and push it to Facebook. And it goes to a variety of people that I have no idea who they are and they have no idea who I am. And they will write the most ridiculous things. And I'm like, and Kai's like, well, why are they doing that? I'm like, because they're sad. Like, I can't imagine frolicking in the wind, having fun, like being on the beach, eating sandwiches, living your best, doing whatever. And then all of a sudden you open your Facebook and you're like, you know what? I'm going to fucking write something mean. Like, it just doesn't happen when you're happy in life. But when you're upset, you want other people to feel that pain too. And I think that's one reason. I also think a lot of people think, well, why not me? Like, if you, why not me? And I think especially with somebody like Alicia or people that are quote unquote regular people and have just kind of built this following, people think, well, why you? Why not me? And, you know, my retort to that is always, well, it could be you. Like, don't, right? And that's why you say, like, surround yourself with people that are, you know, motivating you and making you want to do certain things. Well, get around the right people that are also doing that and start working towards doing that. But I think that's a big reason why people say mean things and do that because they just have nothing better to do. I have never written something mean.
No. Never. Like sometimes when I made that joke earlier, I'm like, do we live in a simulation? Like sometimes I'm like, who are these people?
Right.
Like how are they even real?
It's
like if you
unbelievable.
go into the comments on YouTube, it's just like what inspires you to take that 10 seconds of your life to click away on your stupid piece of glass in your hand and hate on somebody?
Did you ever see that
I don't
meme?
understand it.
Have you ever seen that meme where it's like you found the love of your life and then you find out that they're like writing messages on Facebook? And it's so true. Imagine you think this person's perfect and then you're like, oh my God, they are a Facebook commenter.
They're a hater.
There's nothing worse. Those people are just miserable. You got to feel sorry for them.
20 minutes ago when I was just saying about like spreading positive energy, like, man, those people need to figure that out. Because honestly, like Alicia McCarville, like, everyone applauding her, and hence why her friggin' her following is like a hockey stick chart. And then she makes it. And then everybody starts hating her, and I don't understand. Like, she is a human too. She's going through all the emotions. She's on this roller coaster of life as well. And if you don't agree with some of the things she puts out there or whatever, she's human. She's going through it. Like, let her live her life and applaud her for fucking smiling and just being happy. Stop spreading shit all the time.
Or just like
God, it
move
drives me
along and
nuts.
stop caring about it.
It's just like people that just spew this hatred all the time.
Yeah.
Like I don't get it. But you know what? You're right. Misery loves company, and I'm just not with it. I'm just all about just being a good freaking person. And yeah, like sure, I have a little road rage and people cut me off, and I'm literally like, oh my God, I will drive over your car right now. I'm so angry at you. But like overall, I feel like you just got to spread positive shit. Like,
for sure.
Is that where you were going with this? I don't even know what I'm talking about.
I don't even remember where we started. Oh, Kim
the Kim
Kardashian
thing.
Yeah, no, but what you're saying is totally right. And I think, one thing that you have taught your children is to always give somebody a compliment. And so if you're thinking something, say it out loud. And Kaia's really good at that now because she's heard you do it a bunch of times. And we'll go somewhere and she'll see someone and be like, you're really pretty. I like your dress, da-da-da-da. And they always say, thank you so much. And Kaia walks away feeling better. I said, you just made that person's whole day.
Oh, for sure.
So just little things that you can do like that for sure is great. And I don't really know.
Did I tell you the Rona guy story yet? No. Have I told you this? No. Okay, so, oh my God, this is like a 10-minute story. I'm going to try and condense into one. Okay, so I'm at Rona the other day with my mom getting sod. We're getting like sod and soil and shit like that in the back of the truck. And this young guy comes over on a forklift. And he has another pallet on his thing. He's in the middle of something. Guy looks like he's probably like 21, something like that. He's a young cat. Anyway, he sees that we need a hand with something, and I needed some soil lifted up. I wanted to get like 30 bags of soil or something. So this guy puts the forklift down, drops his pallet that he had, comes over to the truck, lifts my shit up, helps me out, puts it on the truck, brings me in and everything. And while this is all happening, this old guy comes over to him. My mom was the one that heard it happen. She kind of witnessed it. I was kind of like walking over to the till to go pay. But this older guy that works there comes over to him and he's like, why would you put the pallet down and stop what you're doing to go do this? Like, you should have just finished that, then gone and done this. And then the young guy looks at him and goes, nah, it's just the way life is sometimes, man. And said something like that, and then just kind of sloughed it off and continued about his business. And so I wrap up what I'm doing, overpaying and shit, and I get back in the truck. And my mom goes, that young man over there, you should have saw the way he handled that situation. Not everyone's built like that. That would have been one of those things that some people would have just gone absolutely ape shit, and it would have been a big fight, and people would have got written up and everything. Like the way that he just sloughed off that old guy and said, that's the way life is sometimes, kind of thing, and whatever. My mom was like, what a fine young man. Like, what a great employee he is. So we drive off, whatever. So I go back to get more sod like 4 days later. Classic, got a few bags too short. And I go and I pull up there, and there's the young guy over in the little freaking booth thing at Rona. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna walk over there and tell him what my mom said about him. So I walked over and I was like, Oh my God, I can't even believe this actually happened. So I walk over and I'm like, remember me, man? I had the bulldog with me the other day, and my mom was there, and he's like, yeah, you're the guy with the bulldog. And I was like, man, I just want to tell you straight up, my mom thought you were a fine young gentleman, and she saw the whole thing happen with the guy there and everything. And he's like, oh man, they're always friggin' razzing me in here, being the young guy, and they're always picking on me and shit. And so anyway, I'm like, man, that's not cool at all, but you just keep doing your thing, man. You know, people like you're doing a good job, buddy. So then I went. I started going over and go to get in my truck, and I'm trying to remember how this all happened. But I was loading up like 6 bags into the back of my truck, and I prepaid for it. And this old guy comes over and throws a couple bags into the back of my truck to help. He's like, "How many you getting?" I was like, 6. Helps me throw them in. And as he's walking away from my truck, he kind of like locks eyes with the young guy over at the booth, and he's like, yeah, some of these young guys get off their ass and help out around here. Us old guys, and starts like razzing him right there. And then I looked at the old guy with the young guy, like there was kind of like this triangulation going on, and like young guys here, old guys over here. And I'm like, man, he's a hard worker, buddy, and like, you leave that man alone. He's a cool cat, you know, and like whatever. And then the old guy's laughing, and the young guy's like, man, leave me alone. And like anyway, I kind of like broke the tension with everything going on, and everyone started laughing and everything, and like everyone probably walked away from that whole scenario. Old guy thinking I probably should lay off this guy a little bit. He just say, you know, all that. Young guy's like, man, his mom thinks I'm bomb. He thinks I'm cool. That was cool. And then I drive away feeling good and laughing. Positive energy. Do your thing.
Love that.
Put that good shit out there.
Like
Okay, I gotta pee. You do too.
Bye.
Hit the freaking subscribe button. Love you guys.
It's the Two Gems Podcast.